He left a note. A body was found. A suicide, they said, but something didn't add up. Not the hole in the roof. Not the bruises on his body. Not the phone call that pulled him from the house. And into the unknown. What looked like suicide might have been murder. And even now, nearly 2 decades later, the truth is still missing. This is the story of Ray Rivera, a man who disappeared without a trace and reappeared in a place no one could explain. This is a mystery of shadows, silence, and a rooftop that refuses to give answers. Ray Rivera wasn't the kind of person who vanished. He was grounded, focused, the kind of guy who joked around, kept in touch, made plans. He had dreams. He had a wife. He had a future. In 2004, he left California with his new bride, Allison, and settled in Baltimore. There, he took a job writing financial newsletters for Stansberry & Associates, an investment publishing firm owned by his longtime friend, Porter Stansberry. It wasn't glamorous. Ray had been a filmmaker, a creative, but it paid the bills. And for now, it worked. Still, something was off. By May of 2006, Allison noticed it. Ray seemed distracted. He'd pace the room, stay up late. He was nervous, paranoid. Even once, their home security alarm went off in the middle of the night. No break-in, no storm. Just silence and the sound of Ray grabbing a bat, ready for a threat he couldn't name. And then, one afternoon, he got a phone call and disappeared. May 16th, 2006. Allison was out of town for work. Ray was home alone. At 6 p.m., someone called the landline. Ray answered. Whatever was said made him leave in a hurry. He didn't take his wallet or his glasses. He didn't lock the door. And he never came back. 6 days passed. Flyers went up. Search teams were formed. His car was eventually found in a parking lot near the Belvedere Hotel, a historic building in downtown Baltimore. But it wasn't until building employees noticed a strange smell that the truth surfaced. On a lower rooftop annex, one not visible from the street, there was a hole, a gaping wound in the roof. And beneath it was Ray Rivera's body. The first theory was obvious, suicide. But the more investigators looked, the more the scene resisted explanation. Ray's body was found in a small, unused conference room under a hole in the roof directly above. His injuries were consistent with a fall. But here's where things get strange. That part of the roof was over 40 feet out from the top edge of the Belvedere, meaning for Ray to land there, he'd have had to sprint full speed, leap over a ledge, and clear more than 40 horizontal feet in the air, from a rooftop that had no running path, no guardrails, and it was locked. How did he even get up there? There were no witnesses, no security footage, just a locked staff door, and a dead man beneath a hole no one could explain. Then came the stranger details. Ray's flip-flops were found near the hole, but barely damaged. His cell phone was there too, intact, not shattered. Even his glasses were unbroken. But his body? Devastated. Crushed ribs, broken legs, injuries that screamed high-impact fall, yet none of the surrounding objects bore similar damage. The scene didn't line up. The Baltimore Medical Examiner eventually gave up. The cause of death was ruled undetermined. Not suicide, not an accident, just unknown. That should have been the end of it. But then they found a note behind Ray's computer at home. Taped to the back of the monitor was a letter, typed, single-spaced, nearly 2 pages long. It wasn't addressed to anyone. It wasn't signed. And it wasn't what you'd call a suicide note. It referenced Hollywood actors, politicians, Freemasonry, and a curious phrase, whom virtue unites, death will not separate. A known Freemason motto. The letter listed names, some famous, some personal. There were references to a movie game Ray and his friends used to play where they'd write scripts involving celebrities. But it also read like a farewell. Not tearful, not emotional, just odd, disconnected, symbolic. The FBI reviewed it. They determined it wasn't a manifesto or a coded threat. They couldn't make sense of it either. To Allison, it read like something Ray wrote during a mental break. But to others, it felt more like a message. Something veiled, something hidden. And that note was just the beginning. The phone call that pulled Ray from the house that night, it came from the offices of Stansberry and Associates. But no one at the company ever admitted to making it. Even stranger, shortly after Ray's body was found, the company issued a gag order. Employees were told not to speak to the media or investigators. Porter Stansberry, Ray's best friend, the man who gave him the job, never gave a public statement, never did an interview. Not once. Why? Some speculated that Ray had uncovered something. Financial fraud, insider trading, maybe something involving the newsletter business that was ethically or legally questionable. Was Ray threatening to go public? Was he silenced? Other strange details continued to surface. Ray had been working on a screenplay in the months before his death. It allegedly involved secret societies, hidden truths, conspiracies. Was it fiction, or was it based on something real? One of Ray's close friends recalled receiving strange phone calls shortly before Ray died. Static, silence, a voice that sounded robotic, and Ray himself had seemed increasingly paranoid. Did he know something, or was he experiencing a psychological break? Allison believed her husband was not suicidal, that he was excited about life. They had future plans, trips, careers, dreams. She's adamant that Ray was meeting someone that night, someone he trusted, someone who led him into that building. Some think Ray may have been pushed or lured to a window on a lower floor, that his body was dropped through the roof, staged to look like a suicide from above, but no prints were found. No witness ever came forward, and the Belvedere security system had no usable footage. The hotel itself has long corridors, maze-like architecture. It's easy to get lost or be led somewhere unseen, and that's what makes the mystery so chilling. In 2020, a film industry revived the case. The story went viral. Millions watched. Various threads exploded. New theories emerged, but no breakthrough came. The case remains open in spirit, but frozen in fact, still ruled undetermined, still surrounded by silence. And Ray's family, they're still waiting, still wondering, not just what happened, but why. So we're left with questions. Was it suicide? Was Ray unraveling under stress? Or was he murdered by someone who knew exactly what they were doing? Why did he run out so fast that day without shoes, without keys? Who called him? What did they say? And what about the rooftop? The hole? The impossible distance? The missing footage? Is it possible that what looked like a fall was something far more calculated? Maybe someone wanted the world to believe Ray jumped. Maybe someone counted on confusion, on physics, on a hole in the roof to close a case. But holes don't lie. They don't shift. They don't move. And this one still stares back. We may never know what happened in that building, but we do know one thing. Ray Rivera didn't just disappear. He was taken by fear, by force, or by something no one will speak of. And somewhere buried in those last 6 days is the answer waiting to be found. If this story chilled you, hit like and subscribe to Whispers of Crime, where silence is broken and the shadows start to speak.